Morning to you all. First, let me thank each and every one of you for having taken the time and effort to come here on a Sunday morning, and that too just before Diwali. Okay, it was not really easy for me to get both AGK and Ravi to come here, and that too on the same day. So, I met both of them at TiECon Chennai. I had the opportunity to interact with them, and I realized Ravi was planning to do an Ayurvedic treatment in Trivandrum. So I convinced him that Kochi is far better than Trivandrum. So that's how that happened, and Arun arranged for that. And then we have AGK also, who had gone to Sabrimala. So it was, we could make this happen. So this is an excellent opportunity for us to interact with two members from the Board of Trustees of TiE Global.
No, I'm not on the Board of Trustees. I'm the President of TiE Silicon.
Yes, President of TiE Silicon, but I think you just, you were at some point.
No.
Okay.
But TiE Silicon Valley excellent. TiE Silicon Valley is the biggest chapter.
It's the best chapter, yes, that's what I heard.
Having maximum funds
First
at their disposal.
Maximum funds.
Funds at their disposal. And next is Delhi, of course.
Oh, okay.
Am I right?
Yes, trust MSA to know all the chapters and the chapters that have the maximum funds also.
Ravi, you must hold the grooming lesson for all the presidents, so we are all accustomed to the hierarchy.
Okay, so we have Ajay, who's going to be the moderator for the session. So I'm just going to introduce Ajay, and Ajay will introduce both Ravi and AJK to everybody. Okay. So Ajay, he's the managing director of Bipha Ayurveda. I don't really have to introduce him, but I am going to do it because, he loves the publicity.
Thanks, President.
Is he sponsoring?
Not yet. No, not yet. I have to decide after this program.
So I also sent him a message I sent him a message yesterday. I said the only way to make you drive all the way from Kottayam is to make you the moderator. So that's how that was done. Anyway, Bipha Ayurveda is an innovative company based out of Kerala with origins dating back to 1929. Mr. Ajay George Varghese is a third-generation entrepreneur from the founding family of Bipha, which has its roots in South Kerala. After completing his post-graduation in business management, he joined the family business in 1989 as a management trainee. It's okay. And worked relentlessly to the rise to the level of the CEO of Bipha, while transforming it from a traditional Ayurveda B2B company to an evolving, responsive, progressive lifestyle company having presence in over 15 countries. Give him a round of applause.
Thanks a lot for really being here, because I think this is the first time we at TiE is having a program on Sunday. And I was like, when I was driving down, I was thinking like, who's going to be here? And you have a room full of CMs. I think that's the whole spirit of TiE. So thanks a lot for being here. It's really wonderful to have you all here. So today, I guess, I was asked to do the moderation for the program, and I first said no. Was one, we are having two major leaders coming in, one from Silicon Valley and other a board member from TiE Global. So I guess that was going to be tough for me. But then I did have a nice chat with them, and then I realized there's a lot that we have to really extract or take out of them, because if you really look at TiE Kerala, I think we've been there for the last 2 decades almost. We started with about 10 members, have grown to about 90 now. So that's how much we've grown. But
Soon 100.
Yeah, almost going to be 100. Yeah. But we're still on C, right? On the time. So you have to tell us how we're going to be on A. I just overheard Ajay saying that there's some grading system in TiE. So, see, the TiE in Kerala, I think, has been very active, very, very, I would say, warm and quite rich in experience. I've been one of the first, not the first members, but maybe in the second or third cohort, I've joined TiE, and I've been nurtured and nourished with the TiE ecosystem. It's grown over to 90 members. We have about 300 associate members that we have here, and we've done multiple TiECons. Have brought in the whole concept of Kerala Can, because Kerala being a very non-entrepreneurial state, I think there was a lot of hard work that had to go in. So I think that is a real work that TiE Kerala has done. And beyond which, I think what we've also done is we've been best award-winning chapter, I think, many times. So that's the history of TiE Kerala. So I'll just introduce the speakers today. So we have Ravi. Ravi is a board of trustee member, has been quite successful, have a 2-decade plus experience in TiE Global and also as a serial entrepreneur. And I think he's been very successful as he's worked as, he's taken care of Temasek portfolio for in investing in companies. And also, I'm sorry, I also mentor partner in venture capital firm which is promoted. So that's him. Plus he's taken care of, he was a global director for startups in Microsoft. It's a $500 million fund which invests in startups. And about AGK, he's got almost 20 years of experience as a serial entrepreneur, technocrat. He's in fact the head of TiE Silicon Valley, one of the largest chapters of TiE in the world. When I heard, I think they've got the largest funds with them, right? As per MSA. So it's probably one of the largest successful. I'm getting it light. So in fact, TiE Silicon Valley is one of the most powerful, vibrant ecosystems of TiE, where probably all the large entrepreneurs, the large VCs, the large successful enterprises belong to. And I think TiE Kerala has always been, in a way, I guess, has been very, very vibrant, quite powerful in terms of our activities. So one of the aspects which I felt when I was talking to them, I had a quick conversation with them, and I heard, from them that, see, we've been good probably for the last over 1 or 2 decades, but we've done phenomenal good work in Kerala. But the question is, there seems to be something more that we could actually get out of the TiE organization. So after talking to them, what I understood was, so there was something that was missing, and that exactly was what I think Ravi and AGK has been able to tell me in about 30 to 40 minutes, and that's where I felt this is what we from TiE Kerala should know, because TiE is just, what we've seen is only the tip of the iceberg, more is underneath, it's like the big iceberg that, hit the Titanic. So I think there's a whole lot more that the TiE ecosystem can give us. And there's more to TiE than we know, because in fact, as we've all been traveling across the world, I'm not sure, I just heard, I think Sandip talking about meeting AGK at home. So that is probably one of the, interventions or connections that we did with TiE Global. And when I talked to AGK really knew everybody in TiE from Panikar to, I think, to Hari to many people. So that was pretty interesting. So there was connect. But the question is, how far were we able to leverage the connect to scale, to grow, and to become global? When I talked to Ravi, so Ravi said, it's pretty interesting because TiE Kerala is about a very non-IT based TiE cohort, I would say, in the world. Probably that's one of the other distinctions that we have as TiE Kerala. But the fact is, he said, there are a lot of good enterprises in Kerala. For that matter, if you look at, we say Kerala to be a very non-entrepreneurial state, but then we have got wonderful enterprises in Kerala, which has grown, which has become relevant in the country. But one thing Ravi asked me, really hit me, that was about how many of you did scale to a unicorn level? What's the scale? So there were definitely exceptions like NBFCs and maybe there are large leadership companies like Synthite, who does, or Plan Lipids, who controls about 80% of the extract supply to the world. We have Denking, we have Terima Penport, which are all world leaders. But the question is, one question which struck me was, how many did become unicorns? Now, that's something that really made me think. It's not that we lack entrepreneurial ability. It's not that we lack enterprises. It's not that we lack ideas. It's not that we lack entrepreneurs. It's probably something that is really missing, something that we are missing, something that state is missing, something that even TiE Kerala is missing. Now, what is that is the question that we need to ask today. And I was told by Arun to make it very informal and absolutely interactive. So I would want all of you to be absolutely, interactive on this session, because this is all about understanding what we can take out of this organization called as TiE. So let that be the context for today. And I think I've just done a small bit of introduction about both of them. They've got a sea of experience. From From Ravi, I understood he's got very high depth of experience both in the US and in India. Now he's based out of Bangalore, and he's in fact got this mentor partners which invest in product-based companies which can go global. So that's a very important point I think to look at. And AGK has been a serial entrepreneur, mostly in the tech side, but he's got he's the CEO of MulticoreWare is the company, and I think he's got people even in Kotin, whom I keep seeing each other, and then we understood that he was working for AGK. So that's how I think multi-location he was. So that was why we had a quick meeting yesterday at Kotin. So that's when one of his senior persons is working out of Kotin. So that's how large his organization is. So this is just an intro of today and just an intro of the speakers. So we felt, we'll just start with questions a few questions which we'd like to specifically ask you from what you spoke. And then maybe we will leave a few questions. I guess the more questions should come from the audience. But, I guess one of the few questions which I had, when you had talked about, Mr. Ravi, I think, you talked about, TiE being very, having a larger purpose and having a rich and varied experience. And if you really look at the TiE organization, like TiE is a very large organization with experience. Now, how we from Kerala can leverage it? Because if you look at other organizations, possibly there's a process to it, or how the process works. With TiE, it's driven by entrepreneurs, made by entrepreneurs, and entrepreneurs make it. So how do you get to connect, and what do you get to take? What's the process to it?
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, everyone, for inviting me today. Along with AGK, sharing stage with him is always an honor. I just wanted to start out with a very positive note. First positive note is I think Kerala, as a state, has done exceedingly well in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So there is something called a state startup ranking that the Department for Promotion of Internal Trade and internal trade and
Industrial promotion.
DITPIIT, right? So Kerala is in the second category. First one is Gujarat, of course, and then there is Karnataka, and then comes Kerala and Telangana and so on and so forth. So from a standpoint of where Kerala stands as an entrepreneurial ecosystem, it's doing quite well, first of all. The second thing is, as far as the TiE chapter itself is concerned, I have been coming to TiE Kerala several times. I've attended events in Thiruvananthapuram, and then Munnar. I was at a retreat some time ago, and been coming here. So I've been seeing the vibrancy, the enthusiasm, and so on. So I think there's absolutely nothing in terms of the enthusiasm and positive, momentum that you guys are creating in this ecosystem. So there is much kudos to all of you for having done what you have done at this point in time. So as far as TiE itself is concerned, just to kind of go back to what I shared with Ajay. So see, TiE is a 30-year-old organization. We celebrate our 30 years of existence this year, right? So 1992 is when we started. And we've gone through, the initial, impetus to get started, the initial motivation to get started was to help those people of Indian origin or Indus origin to actually get a mentoring kind of a facility through an organization that will help them also be successful and therefore build very successful entrepreneurship, very successful startups, right? That was what the primary motivation was back in 1992. And of course that has not just delivered on that promise, but delivered in multifold in terms of, more than half the startups that start up in Silicon Valley today have a person of Indian origin or Indus origin in the management team or the founding team, right? So I think it's done phenomenally well. But over a period of time, it also was thought about as what do we do in other cities across the US, and Boston came up, and thereafter Los Angeles, and so on and so forth. And then India also started in the late 1990s, early 2000s. And then we have now several chapters in India as well. So if you look at US, you have close to about 20 to 25 chapters in the US, 20 to 25 chapters in India. And each one of them is serving a different purpose. Although the fundamental purpose of TiE remains the same, the fact that they are in different ecosystems and they have a different set of industries. So, for example, Kerala has a lot to do with tourism. There is there's a lot of non-IT kind of things happening. There's nothing wrong with that. Our primary purpose is to help with entrepreneurship in whatever form it is in, and therefore actually create larger versions of the same entrepreneurship or the startup that have already been started out, and help them reach their fullest potential. That is what TiE's purpose is. So when we look at some of the very early stage TiE chapters, like the TiE Hubli or TiE Bhubaneswar and so on, these are organizations where the ecosystem itself is just beginning to evolve. And they happen to be the epicenter of that ecosystem in helping garnering the energies, the momentum, and aligning everybody to create an entrepreneurial ecosystem there. It may not be an IT ecosystem. It may be something non-IT. That's perfectly fine. And they are doing that. But then you come to a slightly later stage ecosystem like what you have in Kerala, where the ecosystem is already beginning to evolve. So you don't need to really do the hard work of pushing it up the slope in making that happen. It's already gathering momentum. There is a certain critical mass that is there. So now, in nurturing that ecosystem to really reach its fullest potential is, I think, the purpose that TiE chapters of those categories will serve. And then there are chapters like Bangalore, for example, in India, where the ecosystem has grown far beyond what TiE would have been able to do single-handedly. It had to have multiple other players playing their parts in the ecosystem, right? There are the VC firms who have set up their bases there, be it US VC firms or Indian VC firms that have set up their presence in the city. There are other lots of customers, MNCs and other Indian customers whose innovation centers are being set up in the city. So those are driving a lot of these things. The government itself is playing a role, and so on and so forth. So I think you will see that suddenly TiE is playing a very different role in that ecosystem. It actually is playing all the way from being an organization that is able to help other people do their pieces much better, including the government, and I'll elaborate on that later in our conversation. But at the same time, it also is not looking to be the sole player in this ecosystem as it was in the first avatar, right? So I think it's an evolving thing, and what we are looking for is to play the best possible role given the evolution, the maturation of the ecosystems that we are in. I think Kerala has done extremely well, and I want to set your concerns at rest, saying there's nothing wrong with what is that you're not garnered what is there from the TiE ecosystem. I think it's a matter of the time evolution that you've come to that stage, and now you're beginning to take it to the next level. And I will talk about what are the things that are already happening at TiE, so that you could leverage that even more as you begin to make plans for the chapter.
I have another question which is quite connected, otherwise I would have gone to AGK, but then let me ask you a question which is very connected, because see, Kerala has had a lot of number one, or let's say, for example, if you look at the first IT park, Techno Park was one of the first ones. We are good or great at doing a lot of things. But when it comes to, even if you look at the startup ecosystem, Kerala, as you rightly said, it's very much rated as one of the best, which is pretty good. And the system is now kind of becoming more and more vibrant each day. And I think TiE Kerala has really contributed that whole process. of making it so. It's been a critical force. The other thing, I think, what is evolving in Kerala is also that, an entrepreneur in every home is something that the government is really rolling out. That has also been, to a good level, been influenced by the TiE ecosystem in Kerala. So the question is, we do things right, but then when it comes to scale, becoming very large, like you said, I mean, if you look at, you compare a ecosystem in New York to London or Bangalore to Kochi, why do we not become that, the vibrant system that needs for a million enterprises or maybe hundreds of thousands of enterprises to thrive? Because the question is, doing it is one, making it thrive is the other one. So what really is required there for us or Kerala to embrace? What's required to embrace?
I think, again, it goes back to what I talked about is in terms of maturation of the ecosystem. I think if the entrepreneurs are looking to make this into a global enterprise, they are looking to scale this organization to a much larger scale. Obviously, TiE has the ability to make that happen. TiE can play a very integral role in doing a lot of those kinds of things. I think it's a matter of how and when these entrepreneurs want to go global, and I think that's the matter of time. And if that is something that happens, in the next, say, 3 to 5 years, that's perfectly fine. Right? Having said that, I just want to talk about a few things. So one is, as a TiE chapter, what you could leverage. I think there are lots of TiE global programs that we have, and you are already aware of TiE Women, that you did a very, very good program just a few days ago. Then there's TiE Young Entrepreneurs, there's TiE University, there is TiE Angel Network. We are investing in companies at this time as TiE India Angels, and there's also TiE Global Angels that is investing. So TiE India Angels does it in rupees, TiE Global Angels does it in non-rupees, dollars or otherwise. Then there is this whole TiE government engagement program that I am responsible for at this time. So we actually become advisors to to governments, be it city government, be it the state government, be it the central government. We are saying, okay, we have been there, done that, and we have people who have the experience and the expertise to help you build these ecosystems much faster. So while we have the blueprint, if you will, all these programs that I just talked to you about have blueprints on how to run these programs, but you have the relationships. You know exactly how to run these programs in this ecosystem and also interact with the government. So if you are looked upon as the trusted advisor by the ecosystems and say, these guys have the understanding and the wherewithal and the blueprints for running certain global programs, we should go to them. Then, I think there's a lot that we can do together, TiE Global and the TiE Kerala chapter, together, in building this ecosystem to the next level.
Thank you. Okay, I have a few more questions, but I think I'll ask the next time. But I think I'd like to come back to AGK and would like to ask you, see, I think you've been a big votary of inclusivity. So what is your take? Because end of the day, if you look at, TiE Kerala has been very, very, I would say, successful in rolling out the women's program, which is the Women's Summit, which is a phenomenal success. And of course, the TiE is another such success, wherein we were finalists many years, but this year, yes, we finally won. I think that's been a big excitement for for the team here. There's a wonderfully, there's a good team which is working, and I think they've really made it happen. So, how? See, this is level one. Always, like I said, this is our first success now. How do you make it to the next level? How do you make every child or every school how do you make them, how do you take this program more broad-based, so that this Kerala is not a very entrepreneurial state still, we still look for doing education and going for a job. But then how do you change this whole mindset to make it a very thriving entrepreneurial ecosystem for women and youth, especially in the state?
Yeah. So again, I go by AGK, AG Karunakaran is my name. So I've been associated with TiE since 1995, right? I was my company at the time, Raj Jaswa, who also was one of the TiE presidents, was the president of that company, and that's how I got to know about TiE. And it's been a phenomenal journey, right, that gave me an opportunity to become an entrepreneur. I incorporated my US tech company called GDA Technologies back in '96 and leveraged TiE for it, became invited to become a charter member. Then I've done various programs for TiE. And I just want to give a short note about so that you know how this inclusivity thought came to my mind. So I became a charter member in 2002, and at that time, hardly any women charter members were there, even in Silicon Valley, right? And then slowly, we had, some single digit numbers and all that stuff. By the time 2015, right, that's when I was the convener. BJ Arun, current BOT chair, and I were the co-conveners of TiECon, who many of you have come there. So one thing we did was, I prefer to operate with specific goals. So one of the goals that we set for that conference that year was that we need to have X percentage of everything, speakers, attendees, all of them should be women. So we put a number, like I think that year, we put 20%, if I remember right. And we made sure that all the track chairs and the organizers, volunteers in all category, we made sure that there's women who's participating, right? So when they get engaged at that level, and I think for an in-person TiECon, we used to have as high as 600 volunteers to make it happen. To deliver a conference with 4,000 or 5,000 people, we need to make sure that multiple tracks, various activities that happen throughout TiECon, we need to have a lot of volunteers. So having the diversity helped really well. And we tracked every time. BJ and I would always have a checklist, or we would not allow a panel to be complete without meeting that criteria. We would not have, if you have a number of keynote speakers, we'll ensure there's women representation there. So that's how we got started. From then on, fast forward, I remember during that time there was a social media post about a board meeting, and all of the TiE Silicon Valley board members were men at that time. So it so happened that somebody put it in the Facebook or something like that. Where are the women? Like some question mark, right? You know how it will become. It had a lot of comments and this and that. From then on, from 2015 to now, if you really take a look at it, we have 50% board representation in Silicon Valley women. So that's a very, right? So we consciously recruited more. So the challenge was that, at least in our chapter, I don't know how it's over here, the board and the president is an elected role. It's not nominated. We changed it also recently. So the way we did in our chapter, we have this representation where charter members elect the board members as well as the board president or president-elect. So the president-elect, then that person becomes president. So the way we did that was, if you don't have enough female charter members, then we will not have representation also, right, naturally in the board. So I went on a full spree to recruit a lot of women charter members when I was the president-elect. That resulted in a lot of women charter members, and then of course we encouraged them to stand in the election, and we have a fairly good balance because California as a state has mandated publicly traded company to have fairly equal representation on the minority side, which includes women also. So we said we will do the same thing for an organization that represents entrepreneurs. So the long story short, it is very important that consciously the leadership here should set metrics, and then the inclusivity or more women involvement will follow through. So that's one thing. The second thing is, I don't mean inclusivity as only regional focus, right? In the Silicon Valley, one thing that we have focused on is that it's a melting pot of all cultures coming over there, right? All the top entrepreneurs from all over the world, they come to the Bay Area. So we are also now thinking we should also make it diverse in the sense that other communities also should become part of TiE. And the last one is the youth. I think TiE, Kerala, congratulations for, sending your team, and they won the TiE youth competition. That's wonderful. Having a younger generation representation also very, very good, because naturally success comes as we progress in life, and then we tend to only include successful people into TiE. But if you carry along some of the younger people, then they will come in and make the organization last. So like TiE Silicon Valley is now 30 years old. As we are celebrating 30 years, we are also consciously putting effort to bring under 40 successful charter members into TiE, because otherwise they will never give back. TiE is, as Ravi pointed out, TiE is all about giving back. So we need to give back to the community. So that's very, very important. So that's sort of, inclusivity angle. And the second part of your thing was, is it only inclusivity that we want?
One was about, now we have this successful program TiE, which has in fact got a lot of publicity this time because we won it, on a global level. But see, one thing when you look at Kerala, see, we are still in our outlook very non-entrepreneurial.
Sure, correct, I got it.
How do you make it mainstream? Because if you go to Gujarat, every child is an entrepreneur.
You got it. So let me tell you. You brought me into the train of thought, right? So let's take a look at TiE, right? Why was it started? I think it was started by Boston because they wanted to make sure that you want to give the opportunity for a young mind to explore entrepreneurship. Many of the times, it's not. Only 2 to 4% of any graduating class become entrepreneurs. We all know that. There's a lot of study around that. So we are trying to say, how do we change it? In Silicon Valley, for example, because of Stanford, Berkeley, San Jose State, there's a confluence of university, venture capital, and all of that stuff. That percentage is higher. I don't know the exact number, but certainly it's not 2 to 4%. So to make that change, the only way that every region where TiE is present can do is to look at every educational institution, right? High school, colleges, universities, everywhere we need to somehow foster the thought of entrepreneurship, right? Fostering entrepreneurship is our goal, but even to plant that seed by running competition and all of them and show them the way, or share their success, right? If like each of the people in the TiE, Cochin, start tweeting or sending social media messages or talking to press, whatever media that they have influence over, if they can talk about that, the youth's success and why it's important to bring them along, that'll go a long way. So that is, one is to storytell around the success that the people had. And that is okay, it happened, you won this year, next year you may not win, that's a different story. Creating clubs, that goes a long, long way. So you can create, and like for example, Ravi is very familiar with this T-Hub experience as an incubator, and I work closely with IIT Palakkad with Sunil on creating their tech-in. They have an incubator that they started also, and a DST funded company called IPTIF. So all of these organizations, as universities have some kind of, I call it an entrepreneurial ecosystem. If it is not there, we should create them. If it is there, we should embellish them. If you do that, naturally things will get better. That's the way I look at it. And then, you can sort of connect them, right? Last night I was having dinner with Divya and I was telling her, is there a way to bring that team over here? They would feel very, very elated if there is a way they come here and hung out. There's an opportunity for many of you to connect with them. I, for one, would have loved to take a picture with them and I would have promoted it in a big way. So this is how we should try to do. We should storytell around the little bit of success, because ultimately that's what's going to make a big wave, right? It's not like big wave is suddenly going to come. You just need to have, little drops of water will eventually create a big wave. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that answer. I think I'll have some more question on that. But again, Ravi, I'd like to come back to you because the point, again, one of the other points which you have mentioned, you have experience working with government. That's one of the aspects which you just mentioned a few minutes back. You've in fact engaged, you're the ex-CEO of T-Hub, and you're also the chief innovator for the Telangana government, and you've been advising and engaging with governments across the world. I think the government of Kerala, if you really look at it, has got the intention to grow, but when it comes to doing things, something seems to be missing all the while. I think we keep talking about that in the TiE. If you look at the TiE WhatsApp group, you'll always know. We'll always be talking about what could be made better. So there is a lack of policy direction or policy advice which needs to go from the best practices. Because one of the things which you mentioned about the TiE network is best practices. So how has TiE Kerala, we of course are quite well engaged with the government, because the last couple of years I think there's good engagement with the government. The government now trusts TiE as one of the bodies where they could always, consult on policies. Now, how do we use the global expertise? Now, we are doing it with local expertise. Now, how do we get the global expertise to also come in for that larger policy framework, that could make the ecosystem thrive?
So yes, the global, I bring in my own personal experience. I used to work at Microsoft for startups, where I worked with several governments in setting up our Microsoft for startup presence in their startup ecosystem, so that Microsoft could give them that fillip, in building their ecosystem to the next level. Then I was at TiE, and it gave me a sense of how to build it for an entire state. Now, having said that, we instituted a program called the Government Engagement Program last year. We appointed the former Secretary of DPIIT, Mr. Ramesh Abhishek, as the Senior Advisor to TiE Global in figuring out how to do this for India. Because in India, there is already an inherent need that has been created by this whole state startup ranking. As in some startups, states that have ranked where they think they actually could do better, or they don't belong, they want to do better. There is already an inherent need in them saying, okay, how do I get better? And who do they turn to? They could turn to TiE. And of course, there are other consulting bodies and so on and so forth. But TiE primarily, has that, understanding and doing this. So today, because of the work that we have done in this last 12 months, right, we have already worked with 12 states in the country in India today. We also help TiE Dubai with their, mentoring program that, a lot of their incubators are looking for mentors from TiE, and therefore we were able to help the incubators of TiE Dubai to bring in our mentoring platform, bringing in our mentors and so on and so forth. And now, to a small degree, we have also helped TiE DC do something called GovCon. GovCon is a very interesting thing, and I think that's something that you should also consider talking to to the Kerala government about, is where governments, as much as they put in the right policy frameworks and are creating the right vibes around startups, they also should take the first step in being a customer to the startup. Can they acquire from the startup? Usually the intention is always there. They do put it in the policy, and a lot of times they don't follow through on that. And even if they do follow through, they have such difficult engagement models that the startups rather not do that. Get the contract, or even if they get the contract, collect the money in a timely fashion. How do you really make this thing work? So TiE DC has actually helped the entire federal government, the central government of United States, to actually procure from startups. And close to about $35 million worth of procurement happens because of the work that these people do. And that is a drop in a bucket, because federal government, procures much more than that, right? So these are certain things that we have been doing in the last 12 months. So what I was suggesting to Ajay is that, you already have a good relationship. You are in the ecosystem. You are looked upon as people who know what's going on. Because see, you have the 30 years of experience already behind you. Whether as a chapter you have been around for less than 30 years, it doesn't matter. But the fact is, you are the presence of TiE in Kerala. And whatever you bring to the table is 30 years of experience, so that you can make this, something that you can offer to the government. And if they can actually take this as a way to make this thing happen in a big way, I think that's going to be a big win-win. Today, for example, we are in the process of doing something called the Global Investor Meet in Karnataka, GIM, GIM. And as part of that, TiE Bangalore has put together a program called Venture Eyes. So Venturize is where we are actually attracting some of the best startups from across the world to actually come set up shop in Karnataka, right? And who better than TiE Bangalore to actually make this thing happen for the government of Karnataka? And so that's what we are doing. So the various different dimensions this thing takes up. We don't know exactly which one, but there's a very good chance that even if you don't have that expertise within your chapter, that expertise lies somewhere in the global network, and we'll find that for you, right? And I'll just leave you with one last one. So TiE MP, Madhya Pradesh, was actually wanting to launch a startup policy. They were kind of late in the game trying to get into, building a startup ecosystem. So TiE was very much as part of the startup policy discussions and the launch of the policy by, Prime Minister. We were very much part of that activity as well. So there is so much that we can do. It's just that you need to find those opportunities, and bring it to us at TiE Global, and we'll find a way to make this thing work for you.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to add, right, even the startup policy that was created, many people from the Silicon Valley, influenced. I mean, over the years, right, even the telecom policy, I remember Kanwal getting involved a lot with the Vajpayee government. And, we also came, when Modi came to Silicon Valley, we hosted them and made sure that all the CEOs get engaged. So, now it's easy to say that, hey, we're all the top. So many tech company or large company CEOs are all of Indian origin, primarily because of the years-long technology focus that we all have had, and because of that it came up. But the bottom line is the policy impact is equally important, and now that we have an office from the global dedicated to do that, we just need to leverage, because that can have a lasting impact for the entrepreneurial ecosystem, right? Because entrepreneurs typically, like in India, IT took off very, very well because the government didn't interfere. In one sense, it just took off on its own. They just only said the STPI, and they gave the 10-year tax break that created a good long, run for all of the tech companies. But similarly, if we can do more for startups, using some government support is good, and all of us need to do our part, right, in contributing to that policy. Like very recently, Piyush Goyal had come to the Bay Area, and we had, talked about it, and we specifically talked about innovation, right? In fact, Ravi and I are working together with that same gentleman that he talked about, who was from the DPIT, is to influence the government to say what they can do in terms of fostering innovation, because innovation creates, like in US, there are many programs like Small Business Innovation Research, SBIR program, there's also STTR, there's R01 grants. So all of those kind of similar policies, if we bring together, then the industry entrepreneur connections can go a long way. And this has got money coming from various sources, right? It could be from Department of Defense, it could be from Department of Commerce, it could be from Department of Education. So harnessing all of that stuff would be very, very good under this common program. So TiE can make a phenomenal impact regionally, at the town panchayat, that kind of level, to state, to federal, so.
Yeah, in fact, that's what I was going to add. So AGK was part of a roundtable of advisors that Piyush Goyal was talking to and asking for help and saying, how did you guys do it here? I would like to do a lot of this in India. So a lot of those have happened to a large extent, but there are certain roadblocks in terms of policy frameworks. So, there are TiE members who are actually helping crafting better policies on certain areas that, seem to be quite antiquated to take care of startups. And the other one was what AGK mentioned, is how do you bring, innovations out of research labs and academic institutions into the ecosystem a lot more easily than what we are doing at the moment. There are lots of good things happening. It's just that, the translation needs to happen. Just to, give you one last thing. So, the early part of January is, I think, the entrepreneurial week, as PM Modi has, outlined. And so that's when, I think, January 15th or 16th, he announced the startup policy back in 2015. I think that's what is now being used as a entrepreneur day, entrepreneur week. So TiE is now going to run the startup entrepreneur week for India in the coming year. So that's a huge testimony for us, because the way I like to look at this is not the fact that we got a job to do, but the fact that their usual go-to people were CII or FICCI or certain other organizations that would have some other expertise, not necessarily startup expertise, but those were the people that they were going to. But today that has changed, and now they come to TiE.
And even the people like FICCI and CI are also coming to TiE, right, for the startup part, right? That's the other thing that I'm noticing. We try to host a lot of.
Ladies not loving.
Siri is maybe he is hearing Siri a lot, I guess. Anyway, so we just, when it comes to entrepreneurship, people should think about TiE, right? We should be there, and all of us in this room, if we start saying the same thing again and again, it will happen. Yeah.
Thanks. See, I think pretty much, from what you just spoke right now, I think TiE in Kerala has reached that point of, I would say, inflection point where TiE is increasingly now considered as the go-to body for entrepreneurship. And you're absolutely right. When it comes to other structured organizations, they're for a purpose. But TiE is, I would say, TiE is emotion rather than logic, because it's more that comes from you, from within you. It's not imposed, it's not communicated, it's not pushed, it's not told. It's what that happens. But in Kerala, the TiE organization has really matured. The government relationships are good. The question out here is probably that are we using the entire TiE resources?
Yeah,
because it's a large, I would say, from what I understood from when I spoke to you, was it's a very large universe that you have out there. But how do you get access? Because if you look at other organizations, there's a way to go. There's a process to follow. But here, nothing is as obvious to you, but everything is out there. So how do you get this process approach, or how do you get this to work for you?
Yeah, see, first thing, let me talk about, from myself, and then Ravi can add to it, right? So from a Silicon Valley perspective, I can broadly tell. Personally, my philosophy, I can tell, right? So TiE is a network. One of the 5 pillars of TiE is networking, educating, mentorship, investing and incubating are the 5 pillars. But networking, the power of the network, I say, is the network itself, right? If you don't network, you will not realize the power of the network. I always say that. And the way you do that is, the TiE has created various avenues for us to connect, right? Conferences is one of them, where we have TiECon, which is at the mothership. We have it in US every year. A lot of people used to come, and then of course pandemic put a twist to it, right? We had 2-3 years of sort of almost no in-person event, to now things are coming back up. But then there's also a lot of regional TiECons. So the best way to do this would be to TiE Chennai, for example, right? They invited me and Ravi to be there, and BJ came and spoke. So basically, you just need to create. If you need speakers, certainly we can help facilitate that, right? So you can always invite other chapters. That's one example I would give. The other thing is, I make it a point, every city that I go to, if there is a TiE chapter, I will make sure as a TiE charter member, I used to do this even before I became a board member also, that I will just, either through our executive director to executive director, or through Vijay Menon, who's our global executive director, I'll say, I'm going to this town, if there's something I can do. So over the years, if you take a look at it, I've gone to TiE Seattle, I've gone to Boston, I've gone to Colorado, Phoenix, San Diego, Southern California. In India, I've gone to, it's the first time I'm coming here, but Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi, Bombay, all the places, right? You just go. So all of us have to travel for work somehow or other. If you can set aside a small period of time, because time is, of course, is a valuable commodity, all of us know, but we chose to become a charter member to give back to the community. So the only way to do that is to make yourself available with an intent of helping. With an intent, if you go, there will always be some people there to take your feedback. And there are times like when I went to Colorado, there's only like 4 charter members. But conversation became very, very strong and, vibrant, and today they are making very good progress in Colorado. So I would say, do that. That's the second point. The third point I would say is, allow, for example, there's I'll pick Sanjit's example, right? He has a company there, and if there is a, technology or something that need to be leveraged from US companies or US universities, he can write to us and we can try to help. Meaning your own active entrepreneurs who benefit from a Silicon Valley connection, or doesn't matter, it could be a Boston connection if you want to go to MIT. People are there to help. Because the question is asked, right? Many people don't ask at all, and that's where it ends. And by the way, not all the asks will be responded also, because it may not be a right fit, it may be a bad ask. All the possibilities there, but do not, hesitate asking. So if you do these three things, each of us can make a tremendous difference. That's what I will do, but it's not structured, by the way. It's not written up anywhere, and we can talk about all kind of processes that we can put in place. You can have an app today, you can have a Slack channel, you can do this, that, and everything. We can learn from lots of organizations who are using technology, but we have 30 years of membership in our ecosystem, right? Tools change every year, right? But people are the same. Human connections are the same as far as I'm concerned. The tools change. Today it could be, 10 years ago it would have been a phone call or whatever. Now it has become text, or it can become Slack tomorrow. There could be different tools, and not all of them are familiar, right? Some people are, phone generation, some people are email generation, some people are text generation, right? It doesn't matter at all. Tools are, we can structure it, but it is a passing thing, right? If you invest in one tool, by the time you truly realize that tool, somebody has moved on to another tools. So I would not worry about it, but generally follow these three policies, right? Start from yourself, and then, encourage others to help. I think it'll go a big way.
Thanks. I feel what you mean to say here is, probably from what I understood, maybe for the benefit of the audience, I just wanted to clarify this point, is that TiE, as TiE, there's no formal process to it. It's all about, you have to reach out, there has to be a lot more immersion between chapters that you need to start, practicing.
So I'll give you one example. Right? So I got to, I told you I know Panikar, right? And I know Arun Kumar very, very well. So this is a personal example. I think I told Divya or Anisha, I'm not sure. But see, and I think I told you also, right? So several years ago, I was taking a bunch of underprivileged kids on a tour to Kerala, right? So I just called, Panikar and said, Panikar, I'm doing this, but I really don't know what is the best place to accommodate these people, and is there a way that you can help me, right? Sure enough, he connected to DC, I think.
Ravi. I think
Ravi, yeah. So very quickly, they ended up accommodating all of that school children at the business school in Vagman, right? It's a phenomenal experience for me. For those kids, and those underprivileged kids, they could experience that business school, that environment, everything was nice. And it was just, we came to Kochi, we went there, stayed that night, next day we moved on to Munnar and then to Kerala, right? So it's just a tour that they experienced everything, but it was one phone call and I had to ask. That's all I did. And then, things happened, right? And Ajay, recently, my niece said, hey, Kanna Mama, I'm, I'll say in Malayalam, we are going to Kochi. She's studying in PhD Tech in Coimbatore. So they said, TiE, can I go to this maker something over here, right? So I said, hey, the best person is to call because I had met him. So I sent a text to him very quickly, tuck. Those kids came here, went back, and she was phenomenal. And she became a star in the school. How is it possible that you could arrange everything in a short period of time, right? That is the power of network, right? If you don't ask, it will not happen. And I can give you hordes and hordes of examples, but I can give you my own personal example here, right? And I've done the similar thing to guys in the Silicon Valley too, when they come and ask for help. So please do not hesitate to ask for help.
That's a good one. Thanks.
So let me just try to summarize some of the things that AGK said. So first of all, look at your organization as a 30-year-old organization.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Your own organization that has enough number of, you have all the charter members of TiE are your charter members too. They are successful entrepreneurs, well situated in that ecosystem, They know who to go to, how to, get certain things going and so on and so forth. So they are your charter members. And then your associate members, when they come to you and ask you for certain things, you actually have access not just to all these organizations, but also to all these different chapters, but also to TiE Global, which happens to be evolving into that, glue between a lot of these organizations. We would like to think that we are doing a good job. We are far from that, TiE Global, right? I mean, we can't be the glue for every single thing. But there are a few things that I think you should take heed of. One is, there is something called a TiE President's Call that happens every month. And we can do it more often if you, feel that is important. But the presidents get to know what the other chapters are doing and what are the best practices that are happening in other places that you can actually bring to your own organization. There is a very, very high chance that if you say, hey, this is fantastic, I would like to get you to come and help me do it in my chapter, somebody, if not the president of that chapter, but somebody from that chapter will actually come and help you. So one is just awareness, the fact that there is something like that that is possible that happens. The other one, of course, is all these TiEcons. Something which now become quite a important, event for every TiE organization to have a chapter to have a TiEcon. So there's a TiEcon that happens. So, for example, we were at TiEcon Chennai. There's a TiEcon Pune coming up in the next few weeks, and there's other,
Your TiEcon coming up also.
Yeah, that's another 42 days away.
Yeah.
So the TiE Global Summit too, right? I mean, it's
There's a
coming
TiE
up.
Global Summit coming up in, end of December, the middle of December. And then one of the things that I have used personally as kind of the annual pilgrimage, right, is TiEcon Silicon Valley. Show up there, It's just that everybody from all the other chapters also show up there. And just having met these people, it becomes so much easier to just send an email and say, can you help me with this? Or, or do something that, I would like you to do. And there is no, I think, need to be apologetic about it. I think we all will do, when we are asked of something, we will do the same thing. So there is no need for you to feel, hesitant to ask of other people. I think there is so much richness that is locked in this organization. It's just incumbent upon each one of us to unlock it for our own constituencies.
I think it's, you just echoed the same thing, right? The general theme, as you can see, is leverage the network, ask, right? And, tools are passe, it will happen, it doesn't matter. And that's the problem, right? I'll still use, I don't know how many of you went to the Croatia for the retreat. So Ajit was there. So that app is still there on my phone, right? Once in a while, I'll just click on that and I'll find, I should talk to this guy, right? And I've, like Boston is one example. I've leveraged, sometimes when, people say, hey, I want to do M&A of this company, do you know of this company, right? And they say, that's in Boston, let me call a couple of people. So you get insights that otherwise you would not get, right? Because it's a close-knit network. People will say, the yin and the yang of us. And then ultimately you get data and you decide. But access, right? Access to that data comes through the power of networking.
One question I would like to ask you, is there how do you find the whole data about different chapters? Because see, one thing about TiE is, yes, you have to go there, network, get to know people. The other way, is there a formal process, or is there any way you can find the whole data about who are? You have 3,000 charter members now. How do you get to know them?
So the way, I'll tell you what I use as a technique, right? So, whichever city I go to, I will do a LinkedIn search,
Okay.
right? And then I'll find, LinkedIn with some TiE search or something like that, I'll find a bunch of people. Chances are you may have one or two or some connections, right? Then you say that, hey, I'm coming to, I'll use Kochi as an example, I'm coming to Kochi, do you have any others, right? And then very quickly you will form a clique. That's what happens. Sometimes people invite you. That's one tool you use. And for Silicon Valley, what we have done is, if you go to our website, you will find all our charter members with their pictures listed, and then you click on it, it will take you to the LinkedIn page of that person. And and if that person is relevant to you, you could do that. With so much available on search and LinkedIn and all that stuff, you could do that. We tried to, I think that's the wish list with Zoho implementation that TiE Global is facilitating. The expectation is that all the charter members' information will be there through some search, and you can do some kind of a Zoho messaging or something like that. You can reach out to anybody. It's happening, but again, this is today's Zoho. Tomorrow it could be some other else. But it's a conscious effort every time. As you all know, we're all in the tech business. Every time I use a tool, it has a shelf life. Somebody else will come up with a better mousetrap, then you need to go for that one. So, that's what I would say. Yeah.
Thanks a lot. I think now let me just open the floor to the audience. I'm sure that there will be a lot of questions, and I think the should not be just going with us. Probably you should be asking questions that you're supposed to ask. I have a few more questions, but I thought after you. Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
One of the unique things about Kerala is we have a huge NRK population, the non-resident Keralite. And a lot of them have actually settled down in various parts of the world. Let's take US for example. The interest rates are very low out there, and these people are looking at avenues for investment within the state. So when you talk of something like about 1% as the interest rates for their deposits out there, anything above 8% and all that suits them out here. But if you're able to give an ROI of a slightly higher rate, then people are willing to invest into industry also. Now the thing is, having lived in America and having heard about the travails of Kerala, many people are reluctant, but what they want is actually a trusted partner out in Kerala. I think that's an area where TiE could actually help out. We are talking about young entrepreneurs. I'm talking about the little more, the older and the elderly ones.
Investment bankers from India, like Avendus came. We have a partnership with Avendus. I don't know how many of you know Avendus is an investment banker. So they come to Bay Area 4 times a year through TiE Silicon Valley. We host them and we invite them. Come with specific deals. So they will say that, hey, there's a investment opportunity, a large investment opportunity in a fund or in a particular company and things like that. And I've seen people participating immediately, right? They will write, $250K check, $500,000 check or something like that. And that goes a long way for that fund. Ultimately, they know it's a $10 million investment opportunity. They are pooling a bunch of people. They'll say, we've got 60% coverage. We're looking for 40 and things like that. That's one way to look at it from that. Bankers have done that. Now, if there is somebody doing similar thing for Kerala-based, businesses like a banking, and if you want us to, expose to TiE Silicon Valley, we would allow, again, of course, we are figuring out ways to democratize it in terms of making those deals available to everyone and things like that. So that's one of them is, Ravi talked about was the TiE Angels, right? From an entrepreneur standpoint, we could do that. Like, for example, I'm personally involved in an organization called India Impact Investment Partnership. We call it 3I Partners. And that one, we are looking at impact-oriented startups around the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So if you know of any startups, young ones, first money, it's not like, Social Alpha or somebody else would have seeded them with 10, 20 lakhs or something like that. But if they're raising meaningful money, couple of crores, something like that, then they could come.
Sorry to interfere. More than the money, it's the ideas that are actually looked upon.
Idea, I don't understand.
Ideas in the sense, what to start with.
So that's difficult, right? See, for example, we don't know the local customers here, so we can't sit and advise from there.
No, something that's really successful out there and which is not here. Because we are a total consumer state. We depend on the rest of the world for everything. So there are many a thing that can be started here. When the young startup starts off, they really don't have the knowledge. But when there is a middle or senior level person, he's looking for some good ideas to start with, which can actually work, which are already successful out there. I'm not talking about only the US, across the world is what we
That could be. I'm not, they have to look for somebody else to tell the idea, then I think I would run away from that entrepreneur personally myself, right? that's what I would
No,
do.
see, money is not the only thing. You also need the product also.
No, yeah, see, product, like I said, like I was giving Sanjit's example, right? He's doing a power train for boards. If he needs some technology help or something like that with a professor in some university, we could have, we could make that connection, right? But it's not, we can't come in and say that, hey, here's a power train, put it in a boat. That doesn't work. Then it's a customer relationship. The idea still stays with the US company.
Ravi, I'm Ajay, immediate past president. During my tenure, during the president's call, I was privy to a program of structured mentoring, which was being rolled out last year. So, has there been any progress? Is there a way, that it's been rolled out, and is there a way to partner? The chapters can partner there. Structured mentoring program.
I think what's happening is that there are several layers of these programs coming up. So TiE, for example, is a way in which structured mentoring is happening for young entrepreneurs. There is something called TiE Nurture program that Pune runs for slightly later stage startups. And then there is TiE Boston that runs something called TiE Scale Up as a structured mentoring program. So there are multiple, programs that are being created where they take a few startups of a select maturity, right? In that stage of their lives, they are looking for the next, next leg up to get to the next level, right? So those programs are now being brought under the TiE Global umbrella, so that the playbook for that is available, and that can be replicated in other places. So if you are looking for something that is early stage, that early TiE, TU is actually run by a person called Santosh Hurlikopi, right? The TiE Hubbi.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking for some slightly later stage ones, you could talk to Kiran Deshpande from TiE Pune. And TiE Boston is also running a very interesting program that we are trying to replicate across the world, called the TiE Scale Up. So I can find out who in TiE Boston is doing
So Ravi, I want to add some. So very recently what we did was, with Amazon India's help, we had taken, Amazon India sort of did this shortlisting. So they took 20 startups from all over India who leverage Amazon cloud and all that. And they came, these are all SaaS companies. So they came to the Valley just last week. I was not there in person. So they did it a 1 week, you can think of it like a boot camp or something like that. So we had like a combination of classroom sessions, interactive sessions, networking session, all of that stuff was done. And of course, Amazon sponsored it. They gave a phenomenal amount of money to Silicon Valley to help facilitate that. You're welcome to bring a bunch of companies, startup companies from Cochin, and then you could find a sponsor or somebody like that, and they can take care. In fact, in this particular case, there was skin in the game from the startups also. It's not like everything was sponsored by Amazon. They came up with their own funding also to send, right? Because if you give everything away for free also, then people tend to misuse it, right? So that's how it's done. Long time ago, the reverse was done by TiE Silicon Valley. So they did it in 2003. In fact, I was one of the cohorts. A bunch of us came from TiE Silicon Valley, investors, entrepreneurs, everything, to understand what to do or how to do a cross-border company in India. So we went to Chennai, Bangalore, Bombay, Hyderabad. I think went to multiple cities they did. So we're trying to do the same thing the other way around. So these are some of the tools and techniques to do the same thing, right? To increase awareness, to develop connections, and to perhaps attract investments and all that stuff. So that's what I would do. But the mentoring program for Silicon Valley, we have a published calendar. So we have a mentor on record, and and if people are aware, they could just sign up almost like office hours, and people can get time from Silicon Valley mentors.
Connect online?
Yeah, we can do it online, of course. During pandemic, that's what we realized, that we can mentor anybody. Like if you want Kanwal Reiki's time, will be available. He will, we can facilitate that. So we expect all our charter members to give back time as mentors. So it's a question of asking who you want. Like sometimes a request will be specific. Hey, I want to talk to this person. Can you facilitate it? In some cases, hey, this is a broader problem. Can you help us? Right? In some cases, I'm bringing a group of companies have a program for us. So each one of them we can do.
Ravi, you talked about two things which I would request you to elaborate. One is the GovCon, the governance part in terms of engaging government from TiE. Second thing is PM's announcement of the Entrepreneur Week celebrations in collaboration with TiE. What is your recommendation? How TiE Kerala can, coordinate with the state government and then do?
One was where, we had a whole lot of CIOs, the Chief Innovation Officers for a lot of the government departments in Washington DC happened to be of Indian origin. And at that point in time, given that they were also TiE charter members, they said, while the government has this doing a good lip service on procuring from startups, they really don't procure a whole bunch from startups. How do we facilitate this? They were procuring from what in the DC term was called 8A companies, for minority-owned companies, but not necessarily startups, from where the innovations come from. So that's how TiE DC hooked up with the federal government and created this thing called GovCon. They have been running it now for the last 10 years. So procuring from startups is what they facilitate, all the way from all the US registered startups to startups now that are coming from outside of US who could potentially become joint venture partners and therefore sell to the government is what we are facilitating. I think this is something that most governments would also like to explore. Just the possibility of where the startups are, how do we get the best solutions, how do we procure from them, and so on and so forth. There are, there is one event that is happening which we are now facilitating in helping bring the global startups to participate in as well, not just the US registered startups. The second thing that you talked about is the startup week that will be coming up. That Startup India is actually going to be running in January. So we are working closely with TiE Delhi because they happen to be right there doing these things. So I would request TiE Kerala to reach out to them and see how best to work with them. Yeah.
In India, we have the MSME Act, which stipulates that 25% of the products of the MSME the government's own requirements. Government has a lot of requirement actually. They have to procure 25% of it from the MSME sector. So all the new MSMEs and the startups are also being told that 25% of the product can actually be taken by the government. It's a great start there.
That's, absolutely. That's exactly what Piyush Goyal also said when he came over. That, of course, even for startups, I didn't realize they had like whatever, supposedly 75,000 startups or something like that in India. But very, 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 very small percentage of them. I don't remember, I may misspeak the numbers, maybe he said 1,700 or something like that, only are registered in some kind of a government portal. So there's a big difference between the total number of startups and how many of them are actually sort of exposing them so that they're qualified to do business with government, receive fundings or other kind of benefits. So you should also tell your companies, maybe their KYC requirements are more because of that people are not applying, to totally they don't know, they're not aware of this program at all. So anywhere in between, right, we need to see if you can get more and more people, startup companies especially, are enrolled in that system, then the Indian government will also start taking that thing seriously. Right now, that, total number of registrations based on Companies Act or something like that, they may know there are 75,000 startups, but they may not know how many of them are in the system that they have approved. So they have a mechanism to approve. So I strongly recommend companies to apply and get approved, especially the Indian startups here.
There are several departments, so they have actually had chief innovation officer whose job is to see how we bring innovation into that department.
Is he an entrepreneur?
Who? No, actually, sometimes what happens is, depending on what, I don't know how they select. Certainly, some of the Silicon Valley guys that I know have been in some of this government playing, like chief data officer was Suhas Patil's son. Karl Mehta, he went and served in the Obama government for startup and for payment processing and things like that. So you get called to serve on the government. I mean, again, this is a 4-year window, right? When one government changes, everything changes over there. So we do get called, but I think where in US at least, what I notice the best is the university ecosystem. With significant amount of money of this research money goes to universities through the programs that I talked about. So most of the time, it's the professors and the research students get the bulk of the money for these kind of research works. Yeah. Sorry.
I'm very proud to be in this prestigious organization like TiE. So I'm a person who used to travel. So I found that there is no open platform to network with the other members and all that. The data is not very open. So sir, you were talking about you were used to browse in LinkedIn and find out the TiE numbers and all that. My humble suggestion is that we should have a directory that to get connected to all the members. Actually, like LinkedIn and all that, before we should have a permission to send a mail and all that, we should have a digital platform in the web itself, so we can connect with every member of TiE.
Right, and the requests are random. So the best way that it has worked for, again, we have charter members and members, right? Some people call them regular members, some of them call associate members and all that. If you, let's say, I'm not sure you're a charter member or a regular member, associate member, right? So you could go talk to one of the charter members or to the secretariat and ask them, say, hey, I'm going to this place. Just ask, and I'm pretty sure they will facilitate. This has happened, to our chapters also, right? Saying that, hey, I'm going to this place, can we do something? It's always done. So use that network. It's always, cold calling is the least preferred to somebody recommending you is the most preferred. So you figure out what works for you.
Sometimes we are at a loss to tell the associate members that what TiE can deliver. Now this is one point where this networking can be done in a structured manner. If you are an associate member or TiE member, however you call it, and they get an access to different charters through a structured way.
I mean, structured, like you said, like this, the classic example I gave right now is this Amazon bringing 20 startups is one example, or like how Sanjit was selected as one of the top 5 social entrepreneurs, and the 5 of them, a cohort of 5, they visited Silicon Valley, and many of us hosted them, right? I mean, it was at my home, and we had about 15, 20 other people outside of them, and there's a very healthy interaction. What came of it's between them and that, right? See, the problem is many times I find it is that we attend events like this. I mean, this nuggets shared, either through the questionnaires or the panelists, right? Many times we just don't do anything about it, right? And my humble request, and I went to our company was selected as the Inc. 500 company, as one of the fastest growing companies, and they'll keep on emphasizing that again and again and again. What is your takeaway from this session? How are you going to actualize it or actionize it, right? So that I strongly recommend that all of us do. There's some nuggets that get shared all the time. That information you pick up and reuse it, right? That's the second one. The other one is that, when you go and give a talk like that, LinkedIn is a very, very common tool, right? So now, if I get an LinkedIn request saying that, hey, I heard you speak at this place, I'm going to blindly accept it. I'm not going to, because we have established some kind of an in-person camaraderie. So that's how the network grows, right? So many people don't even do that. They just walk away, and the connections don't happen.
So
I was a TiE member for a while, but the complaint here outside of TiE community is that it's just for networking purpose, and beyond that, nothing moves here. Okay, it's a constructive feedback that TiE has to take and introspect. And whereas Y Combinator, which people hardly know about, and they hear about a lot of success stories about Y Combinator, and the 5 pillars or 5 points that AG kept talking about. Now, why can't we do something about it? And one is that I understand that no, we need to talk about a lot about TiE, and why can't TiE do something like Y Combinator and beyond network? It's a fantastic networking organization. It gives a boost, and it keeps people at the pedestal. They remain at the pedestal, and people who are not at there, how do you build them up? I feel after coming here, I feel good. After going back, but I still feel good about after a week. I don't know. So how do you make this happen?
Ravi, you'd like to answer? I'll answer. Thanks a lot. So, see, TiE is the largest entrepreneurial organization network in the world today, right? And then Y Combinator is serving a different purpose. So both of these organizations have different purposes altogether. Now, is it possible for us to do something similar to Y Combinator in terms of having very structured, very clear set of deliverables within a finite amount of time? Yes, we can do that. That's what those programs like TiE Scale Up and others, if you go take a look at those programs, you will see that that's what they do. But it is within the confines of the larger, broad TiE, charter, right? So Y Combinator is not necessarily a not-for-profit organization. They bring in those companies, they take stakes in those companies, they put money into those companies, and they will use that money and the stake to bring in certain mentors of a certain kind. And that's a model which is an accelerator, incubator, whatever you want to call it, and those things have a place of its own. And there are several of those in every city across the world. Y Combinator happens to be one of the best known ones, but there are several that are there out there. So we do see that TiE serves a much larger purpose, as in through your entrepreneurial journey, you need different things at different times. And if you have the ability to go tap into this network and draw it for yourself, one day you need advice, the next day you need a customer, third day you need money, fourth day you need something else, and through the entire
Exit.
and then you need an exit, right? So the entire cycle happens again and again, to the point where the same people who have been through this enough number of times have actually raised the bar of maturity within the TiE ecosystem. So we know we have been there, done that, now we have the ability to go help other guys. Yes, what we miss in some of these more informal kinds of interactions is the structure where there is a reason for us to be associated with that particular startup for a long period of time and make certain things happen. But I have seen a lot of people, charter members, that will do that nevertheless, right? So I think you just need to see if you are taking your startup to let's say you have built the product, you created you have the first 2-3 customers, and now you want to go raise a Series A. Find the right organization to go be part of it. TiE can probably help you find that. And beyond that, once you have finished that accelerator program, you can come back to TiE again and ask, okay, who's the next one who's an M&A, a vendor or somebody else who can help you with an exit, right? So there is that possibility always. And then once you have successfully, come out, you can actually join the TiE India Angel Network and start, putting money into startups, right? So this is a community. This is your entire life cycle of being an entrepreneur and helping other entrepreneurs, right? I think there is a very different, DNA that TiE has as compared to Y Combinator.
I haven't instilled that sort of, being in Kerala or India, and be part of and nurture an ecosystem. So I'm talking about the grassroots level change, thought process change is what
talking about. Probably the question would have been different had I been in TiE Bangalore chapter.
Yeah, so Rajesh, I know you didn't want me to answer, but it's nothing about your job, so I can answer right now. So it's very important for you to, or anybody in this room, right? It's, by the way, very, very intimidating, guys, that, sometimes, I mean, at all levels, right? So you meet Piyush Goyal, and as the Commerce Minister, he came, we had a conversation. Now, you will be given a runaround, I mean, in terms of, because, it was a conversation, it appealed to both of us, and we wanted to do something, right? But to make an impact and follow through on it, Ravi knows how much effort that we are putting to clearly understand what is it that, one thing is to say that, hey, we want to support innovation in this country, another one is to do something about it. It takes a lot of effort, and it has to be coming from within. So let's say you're a seeker, and you said, oh, this is a great session, I got pumped up, but if you have to come back and follow up, the ball is on your court. I mean, I remember Sridhar Iyengar, one of the past presidents of TiE Silicon Valley, and he was involved with KPMG, and he was on the board of Infosys and all. He used to always say, hey, you want a connection from me, look up my LinkedIn connection. If I know that person, specifically write an email saying that, hey, you're connected with this person, I want an introduction like that. I've never said no to it. But the moment he puts that qualifier, he says 90% of the people back off. Because everybody wants a banana that's peeled and then you can swallow it, right? You have to do your work to get the work done. Right? And it's very, very important, because I'll tell you, I tell that, I mean, I do that at my, my day job. I do that as a volunteer for TiE. It's important to understand, if you ask for, it's easy to give a solution, right? But it's very difficult for both parties to make that, and you earn it, right? Because you do your work and then you earn it, right? Then you ask, I've already peeled the banana, I checked, oh, it's not ripe, and I covered it back, whatever, right? You have to tell some story around it, then you say, I need help, somebody will peel it for you.
Can I respond?
Quickly, because I've made a promise, I'll tell you about what that promise is.
Okay. First of all, Rajesh, thank you for that critical feedback, well taken. But I think it's not a fair comparison, Y Combinator and TiE, because in Y Combinator comes with the motive of profit, and TiE charter members come with motive of give back. All right, and we have under 5 pillars of TiE. We have incubation, mentoring, networking, education and funding. We address all 4. Incubation, we do not engage much because it has already been taken care of by KSUM and Kerala Startup Mission and many other government-related organizations, also some of entrepreneurship, universities and engineering college, entrepreneurship cells and all that. So the funding aspect we take by the affiliated network, angel network we have in TiE Kerala. So it's like, but I would like to emphasize AGK's point too, you have to ask and then you get. Even if you're a charter member of TiE Kerala and you need to reach out to and avail the power of networking, to the rest of the chapters, you have to ask. If you are an associate member or even a non-member, you're a startup entrepreneur, I think you still have to reach out. You have to ask. And we are in Kerala slightly diffident for this. I think we have to get out of our shell and and then things will happen.
Thank you. In fact, I think when I first started talking to them, I was kind of wondering what we would possibly be getting out of them. When I talked to them, I felt that, there was something that we really missed. But I think after this discussion, I feel we were just doing what we were doing, but probably we should actually reach out to them, to the network, because TiE is essentially about entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship is never delivered to you. Entrepreneurs always go after things. So I even asked questions like, why don't you have a structured database? So the answer is, you have to go and find out and you'll get it. So I guess that's pretty much what TiE organization is all about. You won't get it unless you ask, you won't get it unless you seek. And you have to really reach out for this large ecosystem to deliver to you. And in the day, I guess, thank you very much, for being here, because you really gave us the real insights that we lacked, but you put it out in very clear, simple terms for us to understand, because I was wondering that it is a more structured process, but I was told that it's nothing about any structure, it's just you want help, you just reach out and you get it. So that's pretty much what we could get out of you as a simple message. But I feel there are a few things which we can take out, I mean, I think, of course, it's a connect what you mentioned. Like, if you want to get people anywhere, just reach out to us. If we can do it, we'll do it. If we can't, we'll tell you about it. The second thing I think is that that is pretty interesting for, I guess, TiE Kerala to probably take it as a program. Mentoring, you've in fact given clear guidance on it. Funding was one thing which I wanted to ask for later, but anyway, we already have Kerala Angel Network here, but I think that's pretty much a larger ecosystem that we could connect to, but that can be always done later. So thank you very much, because it was a Sunday, so I guess it was the first time that we as TiE were doing a program on a Sunday, and we were all probably wondering how the success of this program would be, and I'm sure that you've all taken time off to be here, and thank you very much for that. You've been a great audience. I think it went on very interactively. You could speak after me. No, I'm not going to let you speak now. She wants to add something. It's not going to be good for me. So that's about it. Thank you so much, because I think Ravi is here on the treatment. I think he had to rush at 12:30, so I really promised him to let him go at 12:30. He's on the treatment, and he had some small contingency in the morning, but still he could make it here. So thank you so much, Ravi. I mean, you really, have been so kind to be here in spite of your contingency, and thanks for your time, and thanks for your wonderful guidance. And I would request MSA to please present a moment of appreciation from our side. Yeah, he's a past president. MSA is a past. Here. Thank you so much. MSA is a past president and one of the stalwarts who have guided TiE Kerala. And I would like to, and AGK, thank you very much. I think he's again been on a trip to Sabrimala. He went all the way up. And then, I'll tell you the power of TiE Network. I got a call in the afternoon saying that, somebody's at Ida, and Ida Hotel is about 10 meters away from me. And here we were talking after lunch yesterday. So that's what TiE is all about. So I said, you're so close, and somehow destiny took him there, and we met each other. Absolutely great, very informal kind of a thing. So thanks a lot. He went all the way up to Sabrimala yesterday and came back. So thanks for stopping by, and thanks for spending a nice Sunday with us. We'll definitely be connecting with TiE Silicon Valley to get more people out here, and we'll also be coming there. So you'll get to see us more. So I'd like to invite John Chetan to come here for our past. He's a Board of Trustee member also. Past, yeah.
Past president.
Yeah, and the past president. Icon in Kerala. He's known as the Icon man of Kerala, actually. Thank you, John Chetan. Yeah, he's known as the Icon man in Kerala. So thanks, John Chetan, and thanks for all the
moderation. Thank you very much, AGK and Ravi, for taking the time and effort to be here with us. So I think this is the first time we are having this kind of interaction, with a member of the Board of Trustee and also President of Silicon Valley. So thank you very much. I just want to add a few words. This is also for all our other members who've joined us. Just to give a little brief about TiE Kerala activities that we have been doing. I decided to do this after your question. So we've already covered the 5 pillars of TiE, which Ajay had mentioned. Okay, I just want to add for all the students that have been covered under the TiE program compared to whole of TiE Global. So that's one achievement. And the TiE, the team won the best global, competition award. So that happened last year. So that's a fantastic achievement, and we had 2 years before that, we had government schools from Kerala who entered the semi-finals of the global competition. We're talking of 30 chapters around the world who participated in that competition. So that's what TiE has done. Then we have Capital Cafe, which is a program that has been run for so many years. We have more than 400 applications that come into TiE Kerala every year, and they are being filtered, then they're being, they're given the opportunity to pitch for investments. So that is another vertical that a lot of work has been happening. Then we have TiE Women. We launched that just 2 years back, and we've been mentoring women teams, okay, for a pitch competition that happens, a global pitch competition. And along with that, we've also done workshops for women entrepreneurs. This year, my focus was for women entrepreneurs, promoting women entrepreneurs. So that is why we did the 2nd edition of Women in Business conference, which we just, a few weeks back. We had more than 500 plus women entrepreneurs from all Kerala who attended that program. And to be very honest, we were as shocked. Okay, we didn't expect that kind of response. We had to closed registration 2 weeks ahead of the program. Because, and you know, we had at least 200 plus more women who wanted to join, but we didn't have place. It was here at Crown Plaza. So we did simultaneous mentoring for, you know, a lot of the women entrepreneurial teams there. This year we are also going to cover at least on an average, you know, 200 women entrepreneurs for workshops. So that is also being covered this year. Then, you know, we have CAN, Ajit, you know, that is the funding arm for TiE Kerala. So these are the various activities TiE Kerala does. We have an amazing TiE secretariat here, Arun, who's our executive director. There are, you know, 7 in the team. They're all here. So anybody has any requirement, just reach out to the secretariat. Like it was mentioned multiple times, you need to ask to receive. Okay, so with this, thank you very much. Thank you for giving me that extra 2 minutes just to tell you what we are doing. Thank you.